Got a condition here where the blower motor is giving us some trouble. So what started off is that we have it on high. We go to turn it down to low, and this really isn't doing what we're asking it to do. There's been examples of where it just wants to stay at one position. So even though, let's say this was on high and I go to turn it down to low and it remains on high, then no matter where you turn this, it just stays on high. It stays on one speed. And then also too, I was not happy with my selector here. So before I cancel out the control here, we want to look at some other things first. Number one is if your fan control isn't doing what you're asking it to do, you kind of want to look at either the blower, but more than that, you want to look at the blower motor resistor. Everything's located underneath the passenger side, bottom of the dash here, close to our fuse panel. You're going to want to remove this panel and get that out of the way. Then what I had to do was I had to remove those relays, because when you unbolt the fan to drop it down, these relays are in the way. So you have to remove some relays so that'll drop out of there. The fan itself takes 3 of these screws, and they got a Phillips end on there. You can get that out and unplug it, get it out of the way. In behind the fan, and after you've removed the fan, you've got these 2 holes here. Those 2 holes are again going to take a Phillips screw, but here's the sweet part: you can't see them. Really, you're going to go in there blind, and you got to find yourself the right length screwdriver that's going to fit up in there and remove those 2 screws. And it's just going to be all by feel. You cannot see it by its location. Those screws are up in there. You can maybe feel for them and find out where they are, and then navigate the screwdriver to find them and get them out. Another precaution too is when you're taking the screws out, they might like to fall in behind the rug and get underneath the rug. And that's why I removed this panel here, because before removing the panel, they fell in behind the panel and down in the wiring down in there, and I had to fish it out there. I had to get the screws out of there. In my case, it's not operating properly. If I want it on high and I switch it down to low, either it'll go to low, but it won't go back to high, was the condition I was having. So the fan was just on low. And then the one day it didn't even come on at all. I removed the relay, and then there's this one here. There's this plastic cover. So you just take that cover off, you take a look inside there. There's nothing burnt or no indication inside this thing that would suggest that this is failed. But it's not operating properly. I couldn't find a problem with this. I hooked this up to a 12-volt battery. You've got your connector here. There's 2 wires. There's a black and a red. You hook those 2 wires up to a battery, black to negative, red to positive, and your fan runs. It's good. So it's not the fan. I can't find any damage on there. One last thing to check is this plug here. So you take this plug apart and you take a look inside, and what you're looking for is where one or several of these are burnt out. And in this case, it's good. It's not the plug. But there has been in some cases where 1 or 2 of these will be burnt up. And then what you'll see is people will remove this plug altogether, and they'll hardwire from here to here. Or what you could do is find the one spade that's burnt out and remove it, and then bring it outside and then hardwire it that way. We check the plug is good. We check the fan is good. I don't know how to check if that is good or not. It doesn't look like there's any problem in there when you take the cover off, but there could still be a problem with it. Thing of it is that you can't get that part, and if you can, it's like $350. But we're going to turn things on here and see what we can see. Okay, so I'm just going to put this on just before run, so we got some power to the system here. Right now we got it in the off position. So I'm going to turn this on to defrost, see if we can't get the fan to run. We got our fan, it's running. And now we're gonna try our control here. We can hear it picking up. We got it working, and it seems to be working. As I adjusted the knob from low to high, it was gradually getting faster, and that's why that resistor down there looks the way it does, because it's got like a computer board inside there that's going to accommodate this. It's kind of like a dimmer switch, or I don't know what I'm trying to remember what, like a rheostat or something. So where it slowly graduates from low to high, where if you had just a manual switch, it would be like high, medium, low. There's only 3 settings, but this one here is going to gradually go from low to high. Also, you've got this auto setting here, and then when we get into our temperature set, you can actually set the temperature by whatever degrees you want. That's another reason why that resistor is got that kind of computer board thing in there. That blower resistor is just for the fan. That is just for the operation of the fan, and that operation of the fan is, as I explained, settings from low to high, gradual settings, so that you can pick that sweet spot that you want, right? Or you put it on auto, and then that's going to go to the temperature, whatever the computer tells the fan to run at to achieve your setting. That's my understanding there. Now, when it comes to this stuff here, that would be, I'm guessing, more the plug issue. What we had to do was we had to remove a bunch of these relays in order to drop that fan out of there. And if you didn't keep track on what you took out and what you got to put back in, here's a schematic here. Basically, this top one here, as we look, the top one there is not used. That's for export. So the big gray one went there on the bottom. And then I removed about 4 of the small relays. And as we take a look in here, we've got all of these get used. So I removed those 3 and the courtesy lamp relay here. And if we take a look, that one is not used. So this is the blank space here. I don't know if you could tell, but we had to remove all those relays to drop that fan out of there. So just have to put this one last relay back into place, and then the cover. Here's the interesting thing. When we took everything out and we had it on the floor over there, we proved that everything was working. We had turned our high-low, we'd turned this on, and it was working. We proved that on the floor. So now, when I take the key and I turn it over, and I got it in off, and I turn it to defrost, and we got it on high, we have no blower. Nothing. I'm still trying to find out what our problem is. Is it a loose connection in the wire? Possibly. I don't know why it would work on the floor, and now after we reinstall everything, it's not working. We refer to the manual to try and get some answers to our problems here, and the first thing that we want to look at is in this Jeep we have the automatic temperature control. On this page here we take a look, and it's saying the blower power module, and it's saying the high-speed blower motor relay. Now if we go and look, we try to search this out for location, a picture, we can't find it. For example, the high-speed blower motor relay, you would look for a relay in here, and it is not in the fuse box on the side. If we go back, try to search that out, read up location and stuff like that, it's going to tell us it's on the right side of the HVAC, and it makes it sound like it's in the fuse block there on the bottom right side under the HVAC unit, but it's not there, and neither is this. it's listed as NS, which means not in this section. So then you would go back to the glossary and then you would search up these two components, and then it's going to take you to another chapter, maybe refer you to another chapter. But long story short is both of these units are combined into one, which we are calling the blower motor resistor. On a manual version, this is what the blower motor resistor looks like. It's got the 4 wires that go in there. This is your resistor, and this is going to control the blower motor speed. Now, the one in our automatic temperature control unit, that's that big black unit, got a little computer board inside. That's the thing that we're talking about, which ends up being both of these combined. It further tells you that you can't repair them and you have to buy a new unit, and that's likely because it's got that computer board inside there that's controlling everything. The purpose behind it is that it's giving you an unlimited speed control and automatic control for your temperature, right? So if you want to set a specific temperature in the vehicle, that's automatically controlling the fan speed to control the temperature, as I understand it. It can't be repaired, and locally I can't get one. They're telling me that it's $350 and a 4-week wait, and that's if they can try and find one. That's where we're at on that. But I need a heater. I need heat to keep the windows clear while I'm driving in the winter to go to work. So what we're going to attempt here is we've got the manual version, and what I did was I got my wires coming out of here. And what I'll do is I'll refer you to this page here where it says we've got the manual AC heater. So this is going to be our control. And what I'm looking at is the wiring that's coming out. So we've got high, which is black and tan. We've got medium 2, which is light blue. We've got medium 1, which is light green. And we got low, which is going to be our tan. What I got here is this is the manual version, and then I made all those connections in here, and it makes it easy for you because if you look on the resistor itself, it tells you what each pin is. You got low, medium 2, and then on this side we have medium 1 and high. I put my wires in there in correspondence with what it says on this page, and what I aim to do is I aim to replace that automatic temperature control with a manual, just simply to run the blower motor. As it turns out, we can't use that manual resistor in place of the automatic temperature control, and here's why. It's coming from the body control module, then it comes down, and this whole thing here is our heater control right in here, and then this is our switch, and then it's coming down to our blower motor resistor, and then that resistor is going over to the blower motor right there. So this system is entirely different than the automatic temperature control. When we look at this page here, we've got our power. It's coming in direct to these two portions, and that again is that big black box, that resistor that has the blower power module and the high-speed blower motor relay directly connected to the blower motor here. And then those, if it splits off here, this is our automatic temperature control here. So again, completely different system. So I wasn't successful in going back and changing the manual resistor in place of this piece right here. So I was stuck with what I have. In the end, what it ended up being is there's some kind of glitch or problem with the blower motor itself. I removed it again, and it would run on the bench, but every once in a while what would happen is it would just kind of stall and freeze. So I don't know if that has something to do with the magnets or the windings or something, but I changed the blower motor out and everything seems to be working as it should now. Conclusion is, I guess you got to fix what you have. The good news is it's less likely going to be this component that we're worried about the cost and replacement, and it's more likely going to be the blower motor itself.